Going live, and we are going to be a minute or so early, and hopefully we can do this without a restart. We'll see what the audio sounds like. I'm going to find it here on my iPad to double check everything. And there it is, part two. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, audio looks good. A bunch of folks in the house, 10 folks in the house. And let's see, we got Stig in the house. He's saying good evening to Craig and everybody. Lance is in the house. And they're talking back and forth. And let's see, says I agree. And let's see, hello all. Leon's in the house. Leon, I got some photos of yours to show. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. And let's see, and Stig is saying hello to a bunch of people. And Leon says, Craig, the eBay Grand Seiko arrived today. I took and emailed a few pics. Yep, I've got them right here ready to show. Jipu is in the house. He says, howdy. And don't forget to catch the HD Straps premiere video. Yes, it premiered at 5 o'clock. I hope you guys didn't miss it. Lance is in the house. Stig's in the house, and the lovely Brianna, BriFitDance.com, is in the house, and Durr's in the house a minute early. Hey, yeah, we got appreciate. Okay, so Durr, let us know your impressions on the HD Straps video. Let me know what you think. That's a first unboxing, first install video. Here it is on my wrist right now, and it does have to conform a little bit more to my wrist, but what you do with these is you kind of shape them a little bit, and you kind of wear them, and then after a day or two they really conform to your wrist, and then they're like perfect. And I can tell you right now, just the initial impressions, this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be every bit as good as the original strap, and this one has more bolstering up at the case. It's a little bit thicker, and it was an interesting look. I like them either way. Let me give you a close-up here. I think it looks good either way, and you can see it better in the premiere video, but it's also nicely centered on my wrist. You really can't tell from this camera angle. When I look like this, it's like almost in the center of my wrist, and it sits very nicely on the wrist, which is all very important when you have a strap. So 2 thumbs up so far. My quickie initial reaction. I literally just unboxed the thing like an hour ago and put together that video and got it up, and now we're doing a live stream is what we're doing. And Durr's in the house and David's in the house. Speaking of strap guys, HD Straps also makes bespoke leather wallets, belts, and even shoes. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed so far. And Jipu says SARBO33. How about you, Lance? Okay, David saw the video. Very informative. Well done on the strap change. Oh, boy. I got to drink something. Throat really gets dry. For some reason, when I'm talking, my throat gets dry. Okay, so let's see. Let me know what you think about the strap, David. What's your impression of the straps? Let's see. Is it better than other leather goods from Vietnam? I think these are very good quality. Now, these, I made him make them special to my specs with the folded edge and everything to match the original GS quality. And I think they're very close, if not as good as the original GS. I think he did a very good job. I am 2 thumbs up right now. I think the lining, the leather that he used on the lining, he gave me 2. There's this one here has black leather lining, and this one has less bolstering. And I think the liner on this is not quite as soft as the liner on the original Grand Seiko strap. But this one that's on the watch is a little bit softer than the black one. It's kind of in between the two. But in his defense, he didn't have the original strap to go by. He just had my description. And they're using, Grand Seiko's using a liner here that's very, very soft leather, like calf skin or something. So my guess is he'll be able to match this if we let him know what's going on, that we need it to be a little bit softer on the inside. But it's very, very close. This one here is very, very close. And I think close enough for what we need. And believe me, I would tell you if it was a fail, if the whole thing was a fail, I would tell you, Jipu. I would do that. Durs in the house. I'm personally not much of a strap guy because of how straps make a watch lay on my wrist, but everyone I know who has HD straps loves them, and he did a great job on my Stingray watch roll. Yeah, this is sitting on my wrist very, very nicely. So I think some people, and depending on the strap too, the strap that was on my other Gold Stunner, that watch set high. It didn't sit as good on the wrist as this one does, and the clasp wasn't centered. But that was just a function of it wasn't, the two ends weren't the right lengths, right? So you need to get them made so that they're the proper fit, I think, for it to work right. Hey, Craig, let me know if you want me to Skype in. Yes, Skype in, but not right now. Maybe in about 10 minutes after we finish talking about the things we're talking about, Jaden, then absolutely Skype in. Triforce Rich is in the house. Straps look good, appear to be just like mine and your originals. Blue Shirt British says hello. HC Straps even does watch case, briefcases, and will emboss a logo of your name on any of the leather products that you want. He even does a custom Louis Vuitton watch strap from old Louis Vuitton bags. There you go. Jaden in the house. I don't think you can fit on the screen. You're too damn muscular. Bench less, big boy. Well, Jaden, I heard Jaden's a powerhouse. I heard that about Jaden. All right, let's show these photos first let's show Leon's photos first. And this is a under $1,000 Grand Seiko that he picked up. It's a model SBGT015 from 2004. And I'll show you these photos. And he apologized that they're just cell phone photos, but you will get the idea. It fits nicely on wrist. I'm sure it's, of course, a 9F. I like that. I like that bracelet. I like the look of it. I like the lugs. I like the case design. I think it's cool. I think it looks great on wrist. He said he's going to have Steve adjust the bracelet at Little Treasury. I think it looks nice. What size is that? Is it a 36 mil? It looks like it's tight. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to have him add a link back in? So, yeah. Let me know what the actual size is of it. Very interesting. Let's see. Triforce Rich says, it's pretty cool. Reporting live from Q line of liquor store. It seems tomorrow they're locking down us hard again and dry log in. Whoa, what is going on? Why is that? Love the Japanese date wheel, says Triforce. There you go. Absolutely. All right, let me go back to the email here. Got other things to show. And Jaden, who's going to call in, he said that the deal is made on the buy, just like real estate. The deal is made on the buy. And so he sent in this little breakdown on his watch, and they're saying that the watch is valued at $3,081, and he's saying that he's showing a profit of 14%. And there's the watch. So there you go. All right. Okay, so let's see. Oh, let me check the email one more time, just make sure we don't have anything that we're missing here. And definitely, by the way, if you get a chance, definitely watch the video. Watch the premiere video on the strap. install. And I think I showed, I'm pretty sure I showed on the other day, the pictures of the strap in progress. Yeah. Here are the pictures of the strap in progress. And that was it with the holes punched in it. This was before the holes were punched. And you see how the crocodile leather is folded over. That's very important. And then they put the lining the lining leather on top of that. And then they do all the holes all the way around, and then they stitch it all the way around so that it doesn't easily fall apart. Some cheaper straps, they're just glued. And when that glue gives way, you're done for, right? The whole thing just goes to you know what. And the Mighty Rat is in the house. Kyle is in the house. And let's see. And David's saying hi to some folks. Sent a photo of a very rare Seamaster 120. Okay, let's take a look at that. Very rare Seamaster 120. Let's get there. And I do want to talk about a Railmaster. There was a Railmaster model brought up that I looked at, and very, very interesting. Very interesting. And here's that Omega. This has a very similar case to the one that I had, to the Seamaster 120. I think it was a Seamaster 120. I think that's the model. But anyway, very similar. Then it looks like it's got some kind of a, is that a quartz timing thing there on it also? Very strange. Very strange. That would be rare. Let me go to the comments. Give me a moment here. I got to go to the comments on this other video because I want to show you this Railmaster that was suggested, that is actually very, very interesting. It was suggested in a comment on the video from yesterday, and so I'm getting there. Give me a moment here. Okay, I got to stop this. Got to stop that, and then let's get the model here. Okay, it's the Aquaterra Railmaster 28035-237. Okay, so it's a 39 mil watch. And supposedly, I watched a review on this watch, and supposedly it's only 11 mils thick. I don't know if that reviewer was correct on that or not. Sounds awful thin for one of those, but maybe it is 11 mils. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Here's a video. Check this out. Skip the ad when I can. Okay. Check this out.
The Omega Railmaster. If you've seen this watch on my channel before, you are a dear old friend. It's been nearly 5 years since I initially reviewed the Omega Railmaster. That was the first time I owned this, and I recently reacquired this watch after years of having gone through other watches. It's certainly one of my all-time favorite watches, and one that I'm thrilled to.
You should check out that video. But that is a good-looking piece, folks. That is a good-looking piece. Talk about an Explorer option, an option to an Explorer, if you can find one of those. I did do a little searching around, and they're not that easy to find. There are not that many of them around. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see here. Let's see. That's a nice strap. It would be interesting if you did a review 2 weeks from now on how it wears versus the original strap. It'll be more than 2 weeks. I mean, I'll do updates as it goes along, but I mean, it'll probably take a while to really see the wear difference. But yeah, I'm going to wear this one for a while. I'm going to leave it on the watch and see how it does. This original strap was on for about a month or 5 weeks or something, and it got totally broken in. Very nice and comfortable. It was pretty broken in from the start, as is this one. This one's pretty comfortable right from the start, but a couple days in, they tend to really curve and form to the wrist, and it just gets better with a little bit of use. So I will certainly be letting you know. One thing I will tell you is the holes in this one, the adjustment holes, are a little bit bigger, and so it's easier to put the pin through. To put the pin through the factory strap, it was a pain. You had to really push it. Now, once it gets in there, it's really tight, and it's really hard to get it out, right? Really, if you ask me, too much so. I mean, we had to literally wrestle with it in the store to try to do an adjustment. You know, it was very, very tight. So in that way, this is actually a little bit better, because once it slides through this clasp and you put the pin in, it isn't coming out. It isn't coming out because of the way this kind of holds it in place. So it doesn't really have to be as tight as that factory one was. It was actually too tight. So in that way, this one's actually a little bit easier to adjust. Of course, you only have to adjust it a couple times until you really get it the way you want it, and then you're kind of leave it there. And see, when you take it on and off, see, just use the deployant. And then when you put the strap back on, you simply guide this piece through the keepers, right? And then click it in place, and it's good to go. So there you go. 555 Gear is a good channel, says David. The Railmaster looks very much like an Explorer. There you go. Leon, only problem with that Omega Seamaster analog digital is that it's a battery hog, and you have to unscrew 8 tiny case back screws to replace it. That's not good. The screw is only slightly bigger than ones on GS bracelet. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. Durr's in the house. The Railmaster was my nickname in college. There you go. Kyle's in the house. Which strap is more comfortable, Craig? I would say the original one, because it is a little bit softer. This inside leather is a little bit softer. But this one is, I mean, I can't knock it for lack of comfort. It feels very good. And again, it's not broken in completely to my hand yet. So I think it's going to be a close call. I think this is going to be comfortable enough. I'll put it that way. I don't think you would knock it for a lack of comfort. And I did put the one on that has a little more bolstering. He sent me 2. And this one has a little less bolstering at the top part, you know. So this one would probably potentially be even more comfortable. But I wanted to try the one with the bolstering. It looks good. Seems good. So yeah, I think once it really forms to my hand, I think it will be pretty good. Let's see. Hi, Craig. Little tip to protect nice watches when unexpectedly doing a task that might cause scratches, dings. Protect it with a sports sweat wristband. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people do that. I don't bother with any of that. I just wear my watches, and I'm lucky, I guess. I don't tend to abuse my watches and just bang them into like door handles and stuff like that. I mean, they get use, and you know, my 231, you know, it has some scratches here and there, and I mean, you know, it's a normal wear and tear, but I'm not typically really hard on my watches, I guess. Some people just put like gouges on their watches and stuff. I mean, I don't understand what the hell they're doing, but anyway, to each their own. Let's see. A Lange, okay, best dress watch in the world. It doesn't come close to this 002. This 002, yeah, it's not even a close call. This is even nicer than the Lange. I hate to tell you. Cameras in the house. Also handy to cover your watch while walking in high crime areas such as London. Yeah, I would tend to stay away from high crime areas, and if I am going to go in a high crime area, I'm going to have security with me. That's just the deal there. Rose gold, of course, yeah, I would pass on rose gold. Absolutely, you always have to go with yellow gold. And Lance is in the house. I would go with yellow, absolutely. And Natty Prosper, he got hit with a wrench. Leon's in the house. That Railmaster you showed us a classic and loved. Omega replaced it with the 220.10.40.20. Okay, which is not as attractive and loses the military look. Leon in the house. Yeah, that one right there is I mean, that's the piece. Now I wonder what they sell for used in good shape. Does anybody know what they sell for? There weren't any on Chrono 24. Durr's in the house. Leather straps definitely take some time to break in, like a baseball mitt. I'll tell you, that was the beauty of this original GS strap. Like pretty close to zero break-in time. I mean, you wear it for like one day and it conforms to your wrist. I mean, you're good to go. And Tim commented about that when he did the review on it, that it was almost like it was pre-broken in. And I'll tell you, this one here, like I say, the two of them, this one, the liner leather's a little bit harder than this one. This one he used a softer leather on the liner, and this one I think is going to break in pretty quick, similar to the Grand Seiko one. So yeah, but I've heard like some of the Patek Philippe straps and stuff are take a while to break in. They're very stiff, which is, I don't know why they do that. I don't know what the point is. Obviously, you don't have to make them that stiff. Triforce Rich is in the house. Have you been rocking the Date 8 or sticking to the steel? I hope he's been wearing the Date 8. That's the way to roll. Leon's in the house. I'm not out to abuse my watches either, but I have never met a door jam I did not like. I whacked one of my GS against Little Treasury's front door on the way out after buying it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've heard people do that. I guess I'm lucky that I haven't, caught doorknobitis. I haven't had that problem. Durr's in the house. Triforce Rich. I've been wearing the Seamaster a lot and have been going back and forth between the Explorer 2 and the SBGA 229 around the house. Well, yeah, I mean, if things get dicey, yeah, I think you might want to go with the SBGA 229 if things get, a little bit out of hand in the neighborhood. That's a heavy use watch there. Donald's in the house. I will never understand people who use NATO straps. They are bulky, uncomfortable, and ugly. Well, there you go. Tell us like it is. Call it the way you see it. Triforce Rich is in the house. At Durr, you have a killer collection. Excited to see your watches once you start your channel. There you go. Well, we might have to do an intervention and get him to sell some of those puppies, especially some of the steel stunners. Now that he's got a gold stunner, he doesn't really need a whole bunch of steel stunners. The gold stunner trumps the steel stunners. That's how that works. NATO straps are practical, but not the most attractive. And I don't like the way they have the big thing on the side. It seems like to me you would catch that on things, right? Get it like hung up. So that's kind of bizarre. Triforce Rich, I used to be a big NATO fan, especially when I had the Speedy, as the bracelet was a pile of crap. I stick to my bracelets these days. Triforce Rich. I like wearing NATOs, not a problem for me. And remember those other straps too, David, that we looked at that were like an option that were kind of cool? Those ones that are like infinitely adjustable? I forget what they called those, but you sent me the link about those. Trashy Larry's in the house. In my era, we garbaged them. And David Johnson's in the house. If you need a strap that will stay on following a spring bar failure, use a single pass Zulu strap. There you go. Is that the strap that David was talking about? Anyway, yeah, those are really trim, very thin, so they don't add a bunch of bulk to the back of your watch. The one that he was talking about. Okay. All right. are we going to have a guest Skype in? Feel free. I think my Skype is ready. And but I probably need to approve. Is it Leon that's going to Skype in? I think it was, or is it Jaden? Maybe it was Jaden was going to Skype in. But in any event, I think I might have to approve you. You might have to put in a request. I might need to approve you on Skype before you can actually call in. But anyway, give it a shot. Give it a shot when you're ready. Let's see. Leon says, I used the NATO strap on my Fortis showing that pic, shown in that pic with the GS, as it is a pilot watch and comfy on the wrist with the NATO. There you go. And Blue says, hi, Craigsters. And Dur's in the house. I was at the Rolex AD today inquiring about a Rolex leather strap and a Rolex gold buckle for the date 8. My salesman said he was going to have to get back to me on it. I think you can get a gold buckle off of eBay if you find a good seller. I think you can get a Rolex buckle. And once you get the buckle, you can easily have a strap made by the guys at HD Straps, man. Have them make the strap to your specs, man. That's the way to rock and roll on that. And Lance is in the house. Okay, Jaden, I got a request here. Let me accept this. All right, so you should be able to call in. Get my thingamajig here. Okay, and let me make you full screen here. Okay, good, perfect. You might want to adjust your camera so you don't have quite as much headroom over your head. Okay.
Like that?
No, the other direction. Yeah, you don't want all that wasted headroom over your. Okay, yeah, right at your head. There, perfect. Now we're rocking. Okay, all right. So, what do you have to show us?
Well, I'll grab the Grand Seiko. That came in yesterday. I don't have it on wrist. But,
okay. Yeah, hold it in front of the camera and can you put your hand flat behind it so it'll tend to focus on the watch?
Sure, I'll take it off.
Yeah, and just put it in front of the camera. Not quite that close because it won't focus. Back up a little bit. Okay, now. Okay, maybe it'll. Okay, put your hand like flat like that behind your extra hand, your other hand. Put it flat behind. Yeah, that way it won't. That way it'll focus on that. Okay, good. Wow, that's a stunner.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Really, it's really green in person.
That's a nice shape. Yeah, that's a rare piece.
Yeah. I've been keeping my eye on it for a while, and just looking for, trying to get a good price on one when it came up. I figured when a little bit of a downturn that we're in, we were able to get a pretty good deal on one. So
yeah.
Hopped on this.
Absolutely. Now, it was full box and papers, right?
Yep. And it came in a real nice presentation box. I'm glad I watched some of your videos. I was able to pull up the rice paper. I don't think if I saw that, I probably would have messed it up.
Yeah. I've seen people be confused about how all that works.
Yeah, you just pull it right out. But
that is stunning. Now, is this your first Grand Seiko?
It is, yeah.
Now,
so
I can see it like even with just this webcam, you can see the light playing off of those, the hands and the indices. You can see it like catching the light. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you see those in person for the first time, isn't it?
It is. I had to. I held it up to my other watches because it looks, because everything's so fine and small, and especially talk about the screws because I had to I had to put the extra links in.
Oh my gosh.
They're so minute.
Oh right? Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
With the hands too, even the hands, like everything's just has so much precision that it really looks a lot smaller than it is.
And what size is that?
It's a 40.
Okay.
40 by 12.2.
Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than the 005.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger than
it looks a lot smaller than a sub. See that?
Yeah, but it has it actually has a bigger dial because you don't have that bezel taking up a lot of space. So you got a much
Yeah, it
smaller
does.
bezel.
I mean, I had to take a double take at it. I thought it was like it almost looks and wears like a 36 mil.
And you've got a pretty big wrist, I assume.
Yeah, but eight and a quarter.
Whoa, okay. I'd say that's big, yeah. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you
So
definitely
I've got
wanted
every link in there.
you definitely wanted a watch that size. Well, it's a good thing that there were enough links too. I mean, so when you put all the links in, does it have much slack or is it pretty still tight on your wrist?
It's a nice firm fit. I don't mind it. There's a mark,
And
but
it's
I've got a
summertime.
mark on
Is
all
it
my
summertime
watches.
where you are?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so it'll be a little looser in the winter probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could be.
which is will be perfect for you. Yeah,
Yep.
you want it a little bit on the snug side in the summer so that in the winter it'll be a little bit loose. And that way you won't have to mess with it. You won't have to mess with those tiny screws again.
Yeah, sometimes I got to take what I can get though, Craig.
Oh, I hear you. Well,
It's tough.
like I say, it's good to not have to resize it because those little tiny screws are a pain. Did you do it yourself?
I did. Yeah.
So you took a tiny screw out of one side, and then did you slide the pin out of the middle?
That was crazy too. But then I remembered you were talking about your 05, how you needed to do that. But at first it fell, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh man, you didn't lose the screw.
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
okay.
No, but
Oh, I couldn't do mine. I
I've been
tried to do
surprised.
mine. I even had a really fine screwdriver, and I fiddled with it a little bit, and I said, no, I'm going to screw this. I'm going to screw this up. So I didn't even bother, and so I've left mine. Mine was sized for wintertime wear,
Hmm.
and so I can still wear it in the summer like now, but it's a little bit on the snug side,
Yeah.
and but it's perfect in the winter. But that's fine with me because I don't wear it much during the summer, so it's not.
Well, the diver's nice to wear in the summer.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not, it's not an issue. I'm not generally wearing suits in the summertime, so it's not a
Right.
big deal. And I have the 002 now that I can wear anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm good on that. Well, that's cool. So you're going to rotate that with the sub.
Yeah. So I've got sub and I've got the Seamaster.
Let me see the
So
Seamaster.
yeah, the Seamaster I have is like it's kind of like the one Lance sent yesterday.
Okay.
But I it's two tone. I love gold, yellow gold. Um, but I really like this model because it's ETA movement, so it's trim. It's like 12 mils thick.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, and I've got the solid hands.
Now, oh yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, what
So
year is that?
2011. So
Yeah.
it's a 2455.80, I think.
Now, do you also have a bracelet for that?
I do. I just put this one on.
Okay, I'm
It's
with you.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So do you really feel like you need all three watches at this point?
Needs versus wants? No. If I'm being completely honest.
Uh-huh.
No. That being said, I find I've got a good use case for all of them. I wear suits a lot too, so I'll match my blues up with my blues.
Well,
I
I
do
mean,
my blacks with my blacks and grays.
for the suit, the Grand Seiko definitely is the way to go between those three.
Yeah, it would be. And then I like the idea of the green too for that because it'll go with everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Now all this color is coming from a guy who's colorblind.
Okay, okay.
But my mom was into fashion, so
Yeah.
beat that into us.
Yeah, that dark green will go with anything. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So
And so that has your dress watch covered. So
yep.
I tell you what, I would really think and study between those two, the sub and the Omega, and I would be like, which one do you really wear the most? And which one do you really like the most for a sport watch?
Yeah.
And I'd be thinking about going down to a 2-watch rotation. I know that's kind of radical, but
Yeah.
now let me get to the comments
the
here.
advice.
Let me get to the comments here because we got a bunch of comments in here.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm sure the Railmaster is great quality, but just another Rolex homage. It doesn't have its own original design. Lance in the house. That doesn't matter, Lance. Come on. Nothing's original in the watch business. Jeepu's in the house. Lamont is in the house. Okay, give it a shot. Okay, Leon, you actually hardly ever feel the bulk of the fold over the NATO. Okay. Craig, do you use a local shop to what? They said to, and then they ended there. So I have to find out what he was asking. And Jeepu says, oh, that's stunning on wrist. Lamont in
Yeah.
the house. I always go raw. Don't use no strap, says Lamont. says Lamont. Local shop to customize your polos. Oh, you mean to put Frederick.com on here? Yeah, there's two different companies that do embroidery like this that are sponsors on Frederick.com, and they take care of that sort of thing for me. Piece of cake. And they match the color and everything. Okay, so NATO straps are made of cloth, very comfortable, and if you lose a pin in your watch, it will stay on. How many times do people have spring bars fail? I've never had a spring bar fail. I've been wearing watches for, 40 years plus. I've never had a spring bar fail. Is that a thing? Do people really have that happen? I mean, that's kind of bizarre. But anyway, if you have high quality spring bars, I doubt they're going to fail on you. But that's a thing. If it is, I don't know about it. Hello to our special guest, says Blue. And Kyle says, wow, that watch is looking good. Leon says, Lance, the original Railmaster came out in the mid-1950s and was its own watch. It was also called the Ranchero. The one Craig showed was a homage to the original 1950s version, says Leon. And David says, good-looking 9F. And the Mighty Rat says, is that the Peacock? Is that the one they call the Peacock?
No, it's the 25th anniversary 9F.
Okay. And Leon...
They made two of them. They made another one with kind of the Explorer dial with the gray on top and the yellow on the bottom.
Okay. And Leon says, Jaden, I love the SBGN007. I was too late to get one, so ended up with the SBGN009.
I looked at that. I had to be patient, though. I mean,
okay.
So.
And Lance says, yes, but it's definitely inspired by the Oyster. Okay. Derek says, Craig, I want to Skype in, but I can't figure out how to use Skype. I'm 51. Well, Derek, don't feel bad because Skype can be a pain sometimes. It either goes well or it can go way wrong, one or the other. So you got to put the free app on your computer or your phone or your iPad, whatever you're using, and then try to set up an account, and hopefully it will go well. If it does, you can email me and I can give you my Skype handle. You can search for me and then you can add me or whatever, and we can probably make it work. But it can be a little dicey because it's a Microsoft thing, and Microsoft can be a little bit dicey. And Triforce Rich says the glide lock isn't a diver's extension. It's there to fit Jaden's wrist. There you go. I'm sure iPhone hasn't got it. iPhone hasn't got what? Skype works on it. Carlos just connected again. Who is this friend? Introduce yourself to Carlos.
Hey, Carlos, it's Jaden.
There you go.
That's the handle.
There you go. And Triforce Rich, he said it's Jaden, Carlos. Jaden showing off his new 9F that he got a good buy on.
Yeah, I'm not scratching my beard. I'm just showing that.
Yeah, and stunning watch, says Carlos. Kind of looks like a Yacht Master. Now you have some high-end watches right there. You have a sub right there. You have an Omega high-end right there. Compare the three and tell us which has the better quality.
I mean, spoiler alert, right? It's the Grand Seiko.
You honestly believe that? I mean, you're not just saying that for the channel.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the finishing,
Mm-hmm.
The depth, right? Like in the watch, which I think the Rolex is superior to the Omega on that, on the finishing.
Okay.
I love the Omega's color scheme again, kind of, and the gold, but No, I mean the Grant Seiko. I mean, it just it's put together really really well. And the sub I have is 5 digit too.
Mm-hmm.
So it rattles. You know, it's got
Okay.
that rattle to it.
Yeah.
It was like I tried on when I was at Govberg. I tried on the SBGA 259, the Golden Snowflake.
Okay.
I almost pulled the trigger on that, but that's what it's kind of funny because that titanium feels kind of almost, it's still lighter, but it kind of feels more like the 5 digit. So
Very
I was getting
light. Very light.
yeah, I was looking, and this is what kind of inspired the Grand Seiko too, because it's a GMT.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at getting the GMT Master too, the gold, the two-tone one
Okay.
with the green hand.
Okay.
And I really just didn't like. And again, I'm a big guy,
Mm-hmm.
big hands and wrists and stuff, and I didn't like the maxi case and the big lugs and just kind of how the profile was. So I
Yeah.
really like the
I
sub a lot better.
I just don't get the whole maxi case. I mean, not that they call it super case. It's the dial's the maxi dial, but I
Right.
just don't get that whole thing. I just don't. It's such a shame too because it was such a gorgeous watch. And
Yeah.
Kyle says I like your sub, and Carlos says good point, Jaden. None of us need any watch over $500. Now that I disagree with Carlos because when you go up to the higher end watches, there is a lot of quality difference. When you
It,
step up and to like $3, 4, $5,000, especially you step up into Grand Seiko, there's a big quality difference, I think.
it's crazy. I mean, for the last 15 years before, and I had a couple other like brands in between, but for 15 years I wore a Tissot ring every year.
Mm-hmm.
Until I started understanding, more about watches. So
Okay. And Triforce Rich is in the house. He says, speaking of fashion, I've been tempted to find a nice British Racing green sports jacket. Think the day date, and that would be the money combo. Oh, absolutely. Get yourself a cashmere sport coat in British Racing green with nice gold buttons on it and gold. Yeah, I mean, like like a typical blazer type uh, uh, brass, not gold, but brass buttons. That would look really great with a date 8. Carlos is in the house. Craig mission in life is break. Craig's mission in life is breaking our hearts. Well, you'd think because I'm telling him to go down to 2 watches. Come on, come on. I'm just suggesting things here. We're just talking ideas, and that's a great 3 watch rotation, Jaden. Don't consolidate. You'll love them. The two-tone sub black dial is the best version of the Submariner. There you go.
yeah,
Um,
really,
well, Jaden obviously is very selective on his watches. I mean, he measures 7 times and cuts once, and
everything. Yeah, absolutely.
that's very good. And Triforce Rich says green jacket, a great idea. Yeah, with some nice Bills khakis. My
Yeah,
gosh, that would be a hell of a combo, and a real nice shirt, high-end shirt, nicely starched.
I got some green laces that came in today too for Alan Edmonds.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go.
Mix those in a lot.
Now, now, which Allen Edmonds will you put those in?
I don't know yet. I
Like
mean,
a
I got
like a brown, like a dark brown.
could be. I mean, I've got lighter browns and
That
darker
would
browns.
look good with the green. Any brown.
I do have a pair of navy ones that I haven't worn yet,
Hmm.
and I thought maybe wear those with the navy, but I don't know.
That would really pop. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So, an Omega GS Rolex Trio is the enviable trinity of usable, high quality watches. Yeah, but we're going to have to get him into
practical.
we're going to have to get him into a gold stunner here, of all gold stunner here pretty soon. Leon's in
That
the
that's
house.
that's that's the next one.
Okay. And
You
what are
know
you
that
thinking
big man.
about? What are you thinking about for the gold stunner?
118238.
Okay. Okay. And so
So
you may need extra links.
yeah, I mean, have to get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's just so versatile. I did have a 36 mil Datejust and had no problem wearing it
Mm-hmm.
um, before.
Okay.
So I don't think even for my wrist size, I don't think a 36 mil, especially all gold.
No, the Date 8 looks good on anybody. It really does.
Yeah,
Now, Leon has a comment. Jaden, you need a green alligator strap for your SBGN 007.
I've got a green lizard strap for it.
Okay.
Already bought that, yeah.
All right.
Nice card for the horse.
And now, are you going to go with a deployant clasp?
It doesn't have one on there, but I mean,
okay.
I'd be very interested to get like a real GS
deployant
strap with the deployment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never tried on a deployant. I don't know how it fits.
Now, what I would do is I would figure out the measurement that you need, and for both lengths, right? And I would definitely have HD straps make your strap for you.
Sounds like the way to go.
And Steve can get you the deployant clasp if you can't find one on eBay.
Okay.
He can get you the deployant clasp. He got one for David Williams.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let's see. Triforce Rich says, Craig, I had a spring bar fail on my Omega, and I had it on a NATO at the time, and it saved it from a fall that would have done serious damage. It only happened once. Whoa. Triforce Rich. Omega spring bar failure. Whoa. That's scary. Lance is in the house. Jaden needs to get an old 18-karat dress watch. Well, he's going to get an 18238 is what he's decided he's going to get. So, yeah, that's a good move, too.
I'm thinking the double one. I like the play on the both sides of it. How it's got kind of polished in the center and kind of polished on the sides and a little more
brushed on the top. The 18238 has the brushed, yeah. The 6-digit is all polished. Okay, Cliff Dweller, I just watched a private video of high-end stores in Midtown Manhattan, all boarded up, including Rolex and Breitling. Block after block of destruction, shocking and not widely reported. Love the 9F. Okay. Cheetown, I reckon Jaden doesn't need an all-gold dress watch. That Submariner is perfect for a sports dress combination punch. Yeah, but no, he's a classy guy. He needs a watch that's more appropriate for dress purposes, and it needs to be all gold. So I think an 18238 is definitely going to round out his kit very nicely. David Williams is in the house. I had a spring bar fail once at the grocery store. Ironically, I had it on a NATO, which likely saved the watch. Well, we've got 2 spring bar failures. I wonder if it's because you guys are changing straps all the time and stressing your spring bars a lot. That's probably it. I usually don't screw around with mine, and so they last. So I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to change my strap like every other day on this watch. I think I'm going to do that rarely.
Does the strap bother you in the like when it's getting hot out or
no? Not really. I haven't been out in the really sweltering, like for hours on end yet. I mean, we haven't really had that many bad days. And I don't intend to do that very often. I mean, usually if I'm wearing this, it's because I'm wearing a suit or something, and I'm going to generally be in decent weather or in air conditioning or whatever. I'm not going to be out there sweating anyway in a suit. That's not a good plan, right? Yeah. So I don't, but I have been out on some pretty warm days and in and out and about and so on, and I haven't noticed anything about it like trapping heat and really being a problem. Maybe some people, maybe their arms sweat more than others or something. I don't know, but I just, so far, it hasn't been a problem, but we're just getting into the hot weather here in Maryland. So
your test is to come.
So yeah, I will definitely give it the test. I'll definitely take it out and wear it on purpose in some heat and see really what that's like, so that I'll know, because I've got 3 straps now. So if I trash one, I'll still have 2 left, right? Okay, so the 9F case that Jaden has is most versatile with the ability to look good on a strap or the bracelet. Leon in the house. Many soldiers who took submariners into battle didn't lose their watch due to the spring bars failing. They lose them because the pressed clasps open up, hence the future double lock clasps. Well, if you have a flip lock clasp, I've never had one of those come undone. Even the old GMTs that I wore and the red sub, none of those as long as it had the flip lock, I never had one of those come undone. And even with the stamped clasps and all, they're fine. They hold up fine. So, Pre-Ceramic Submariner is a timeless and iconic watch. You can wear it in everyday situation if you want. Cheetown. Yeah, I wouldn't wear it with a suit. I wouldn't go there. I would wear, if of the watches you have, I'd wear the Grand Seiko with a suit. It's nice and trim. It's a little more dressy looking, I think.
It is.
Than
It's
the
neat
sub.
how it's got the hour markers for the GMT too. It's very very stealthy,
Exactly.
GMT. I like how they're on the inside.
And Triforce Rich Craig trying to peddle the 2-watch rotation on us while he has a 3-watch rotation. Actions speak louder than words, Craig. Don't got to downsize. That being said, for us watch lovers, there's always the next. Yeah. Well, my 005 is available. That 005 is on the block, and it's available. If somebody wants to step up and buy the 005, I'd sell it. I don't know when I'll wear that again. I have to be honest. I'm between the 002 right now and the 231 is my rotation.
You only need 4 razors, not 4 watches.
Yeah, and I don't need the 4 razors either. I'll sell I'll sell this timeless razor, that extra stainless steel one that I'm not using anymore. I'd sell it. Let's see.
If I find I'm not wearing one of them, I'll get rid of it. I mean, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because you could put that money somewhere where it's going up in value.
Absolutely, yeah. Another good day with the holdings, that's for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Tim says, is it my imagination or is price of pre-ceramic Rolex sub pre-2010 going up? Could be not people buying the super case. Well, I think a lot of people do like the pre-ceramic
the
case.
bezel's a lot nicer too.
Yeah, I think people do like it. Cheetown's in the house. Jaden could rock a Date 8 like a champ. Kyle says everyone in here loves the Date 8. Well, who wouldn't? I mean, come on.
Yeah, solid gold.
BU Serve says, Craig, I saw the HD strap video. The stitching doesn't look so neat. Well, it looks real good. I'm looking at it right now. It looks really good. So remember, when you look at a macro shot, that's not necessarily what it looks like in real life. And I'm looking at it right now from, just over a foot away. And the stitching looks absolutely perfect. It looks straight as an arrow. Let me give you a shot here.
Is it alligator, Craig?
I believe it's crocodile.
Okay.
But it is really high grade croc. It's not junk croc.
Yeah.
You can tell he's getting good hides. He's not dealing with junk.
I never knew there was a big difference. I actually got an alligator belt in today.
Okay.
So I had a crocodile.
Okay.
And this is Alan Edmonds.
Now, what you got to look at though is look and see if there's a seam. That's how you can really tell the high-end belts. Is there will not be a seam. In other words, that alligator side. If you follow it along, look very closely because sometimes it's hard to see, but you will see where there's a seam where it's kind of glued.
Yeah, I think there's one right there.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Center it on the seam. No, I think the seam is off the camera shot right now.
This way?
Well, no, the other way. Go the other way. Keep going. Keep going the other way. Keep going. Right there. Now I can see a seam, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can see a seam. Now,
I just saw it. I never even heard of that.
That is not, it is not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that it's a piece of junk. It just means...
They got a big waist, too.
It means that they, here's the deal. If it doesn't have a seam, they use more leather to make the belt, more of the hide. So they're cutting out that good part of the hide for one solid length. And it also might mean they might need to buy a bigger hide, which they might need to pay more money for.
Yeah.
Right? And so they tend to be really upscale if they are all one piece. And what's going to happen is potentially at that seam, that's where it might start to fail. It might start coming apart. It might start to fail at that seam. I've had both. I have some that are seamed and some that are not. And I had one fail on me after like 20 years of use. I mean, it still takes a while.
Right. I'll check this too. This is the crocodile that came in.
Okay.
Or the alligator. And I got to tell you, the alligator is like butter.
Yes. Alligator
really,
is
compared to the crocodile.
Alligator is a higher end hide, and it's more pliable. It is more comfortable, and it should hold up better. Also, look closely and see if you think that
genuine American crocodile.
Yeah, look closely and see if you see a seam anywhere. Let's see. Carlos says, "Hello, Buserv. I saw for a bit on AC3 yesterday, and I saw it seems that you are going to be unbanned. It's good. It seems you have been expensive. Okay, whatever that means. I think he said 118.238. No, but he wants the 18.238. Okay.
I think I found a seam on this one too.
Okay. So
it's not much of the belt. I think it would have been a full belt for Lance or somebody like that.
Yeah, well, you never know. Yeah, I mean, the really higher end ones, they'll make them on purpose without a seam.
That's where the seam starts.
But yeah, they're going to be
the belts,
Yeah,
longer.
They're going to be significantly more expensive.
I got a great buy on them, and I'm pretty happy with them though too. They came with the brass, and the brass is in here, and the silver one's there.
So it came with two buckles.
Yeah, it came with both of them did.
And by the way, you can do a search. You can just go on eBay and do a search. Alligator belt. I would put USA, right? Made in USA. I'd put USA. Some of the really good ones are made in Italy, though. I would do a search, alligator belt, and then your waist size, whatever it is, 42, whatever it is, and then just save that search. And then you'll get an email if somebody lists something. They might list a really high-end belt that they got for a gift or something they never wore. Who knows, right? And it might be a $1,000 belt that they're selling for $150. And what I would do is I would message the person and say, please look at it very close and let me know if there's a seam. And then if it's got a seam, just pass, right? And because you don't have to be in a hurry, right?
No.
You might stumble across one that's just a really good buy. I'll tell you, the one I have that is probably my nicest belt is made by Oris. Oris was the retailer. And it's the alligator belt that I wear the most, probably, when I'm not wearing the crocodile belt that I have, the real heavy-duty crocodile one that I have. And they definitely had some really nice ones, and it has no seam or anything. So, just be patient. You'll find some awesome ones that way too. Let's see.
Yeah, I got to work on the shoes next.
Have you looked at any Aldens?
They only go up to 13.
Okay. Yeah, I think we talked about that. I think you wear like a 15 or something.
Yeah, I'm a 15 AAA.
Okay. Yeah, that was why. Okay, I remember that. Yeah. Okay. We love Cheetown says, we love the day dates because we are Antis. I don't know, what's Antis? ANTIS. No promoting of homely 70s Genta watches with integrated bracelets here. No, we'll pass on the integrated bracelet. Stirs in the house. Lamont is in the house. Okay. And let me see, Kyle Jett. People are quickly picking up on the market error, even on the Rolex forums. There is no way a day date should cost less than a steel sports model, but it does. Also, the king of watches, Triforce Rich. Leather straps don't suit warm weather, says fella. I've heard that again from a lot of people, but we'll see. I'll report. I'll let you know how mine hold up in in hot weather. But you mentioned like softball gloves and stuff. I mean, I used to play a lot of softball, and I've got a glove that's made of kangaroo leather, and I mean, I sweat in that, and it's leather. It doesn't like fall apart just because some sweat hits it or something. I don't know if I buy this concept that if you sweat on a watch band, all of a sudden it just shrivels away and you're done for. I don't know if I buy that. Now, if they're glued together and not stitched properly and so on, if they're a piece of junk, then yeah, I probably buy it. But I don't think it's going to happen to this one, but we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll be the first one to let you know. Let's see. Durr says, I have hornback gator on my Royal Oak offshore, but would love to have the bracelet for it. Okay. And Tim says, I had a spring bar failure on a Seiko, but because I fell off my bike with high impact. Well, yeah, that might do it. Lance is in the house. Integrated bracelets are okay. Many iconic watches have them. I would pass on the integrated bracelet thing. Let's see. Leon says most watches with bracelets use a slightly shorter spring bar to easily put the bracelet on at the factory. When switching to a strap, that shorter bar will pop out when the strap flexes. Interesting. Well, that's interesting news. A chintzy spring bar. And Carlos is in the house. I don't have problems with integrated bracelets, especially in roller. Yeah, I would pass on that, Carlos. We're doing an intervention here. We don't want you guys to make the mistake of buying integrated bracelet watches that are ugly.
What do you think about the service on those watches too? I mean, they're just you hear about some of the prices on service, and it just seems like you're spending money on something unnecessary.
Yeah, to me that doesn't matter because I wouldn't have it serviced. But I mean, I just don't wear ugly watches. I mean, life is too short. Why am I going to put something hideous on my wrist? I mean, just because some people in the forum says it's cool. I mean, they're ugly watches. No. My gosh, when you can wear a date 8 for the same price, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah.
It's just stupid. It's just I don't get it. I just don't get it. There's no accounting for taste or lack thereof, though.
There's a lot of head scratching with watches. That's like and I know not everyone likes the two-tone, but I mean, I basically got this for the same price as what the steel ones go for. So I got gold for free. Yeah,
I think it's fine. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, I think it's fine because you got the nice case and everything. I mean, yeah. And Cheetown says the problem with integrated bracelets is the old folded links will go saggy and make the watches less usable. Corey is in the house. Craig, I sent you an email of the all-new Grand Seiko 2020 show live, please. Okay, I will. In fact, I would love to have a Royal Oak. That it happens is impossible to get. I would pass on that, Carlos. Please don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. We're doing an intervention here. All right, Jaden, we're going to have to let you go so that I can look at the email. Thank you very much for calling in, and you got a nice piece there.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, there it is. Well done. Thank you again. All right, just like that. He called in. Just like that. And we're going to check the email next. We are going to check the email next. And I can get those headphones off that aren't exactly real comfortable. Okay, new Grand Seiko. Oh, well, we've showed this before. What's so new about this? Grand Seiko Heritage Collection. It is beautiful with that white dial. Let's see what the dimensions are. 37 mil by 10 mils thick. Yeah, nice all-arounder. Nice piece. Yeah, we've talked about that watch before. Okay, let's go back and see what else we got going on here. Lance sent the lawn jeans. Let's take a look at this. Not terrible. not terrible, but see how it looks like those lugs are almost like stuck onto the case? They don't almost like there's even a seam there where they meet the case. It just doesn't flow into the case. But other than that, I mean, it's a nice looking piece. Nice looking piece. I mean, I would wear it. Absolutely, I would wear it. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got. And Cheetown, the Royal Oak bracelet is high quality, but the watch brushing is delicate and difficult to refinish. Royal Oaks don't age gracefully with daily use. And Dur's saying, stitching looks great to me. I mean, it looks great to me too. Carlos says, GS strap looks much better to my eyes. Interesting. Okay. Leon says, it is like watches. There are folks that bust out the loop and look for imperfections or problems. If you got to use a loop to see issues, then there is no problem, says Leon. Come on, Leon, you're bringing some logic to the discussion here. Kyle's in the house. He says, Rich is incorrect. It is the king of watches. Okay. Let's see. Chi-Town, at the end of the day, would you rather be crying about your Royal Oak getting scratched or be Alec Baldwin wearing a day date telling some guy to put down that pot of coffee? Okay. Let's see, Dur, I wouldn't want to be Alec Baldwin, that's for sure. Okay. I would prefer to be both. Okay. Lance, the Royal Oak is AP's one-hit wonder, in my opinion. It's extremely ugly. The case and exposed screws are very odd. It looks like something I would find in a toolbox. It looks like, never mind. Yeah, I would pass on it. And if that's their one-hit wonder, then that's not a very good hit, if you ask me. Cheetown's in the house. At Carlos, Royal Oak is like owning a Lamborghini. Many guys with the cash to spare have to scratch the itch, but will be inevitably relieved when they no longer own it. Royal Oak is the Lamborghini Countach of watches. Either you love it or you hate it. Let's see. I grew as a teenager loving Lamborghini Countach. There you go. Kyle's in the house. I love the Lamborghini, but hate the Royal Oak. Did any of you have the red Countach poster on your wall? Can someone / Craig talk to me about how the 15500 bracelet will actually age? People say different stuff. If I wear it 3/4 days a week for 2 years, thoughts? How the 15500 bracelet will actually age. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Please share in the chat. Kyle, my analogy was correct then. Okay, you can report it live. Okay. Lance, I sat in a Countach at a car show. The interior is pretty cheap feeling, and you're sitting in the floor. They're not comfortable at all. And a lot of Ferraris are not comfortable to sit in and drive. Jaden in the house. I'd rather have a 911 any day. Jaden in the house. Thanks, guys. Jipu, I think this 3 streams in a row that we've shown the SBGX 259. I know. I don't understand what's going on with that. Carlos in the house. Lance, 40 years ago, didn't look cheap. Triforce Rich. My dream car is the Land Cruiser, and for a sports car, an Aston Martin before they started using Mercedes engines. I prefer Ferrari to Lambos. Or just get a 911 and call it a day. Kyle's in the house. We have to show Brett's LC on the channel. Well, duh. Call in, Skype in. You know how to do it. Let's see. Triforce Rich. Uh, what what do you? I'm supposing you're saying he's got a Land Cruiser. Is that what you're saying? If he does, yeah, we want to see a Land Cruiser. Triforce Rich, what do you think of the looks of the new Vantage? I honestly hate it. Okay, absolutely right. She love it or hate it. Lance, the new 2021 Jaguar F-Type is very cool looking. Okay. Carlos, my favorite car is the convertible Mini. I would love to have a Morgan someday if I live in the appropriate place. And the Mini probably has more like chair high seating, probably more comfortable, than some of these sports cars you're mentioning. Triforce Rich is in the house. Let's see. I have to see in person, but looks a bit too curvy and modern for my eyes, but you never know until you see it in the flesh. Triforce Rich, I just hate everything about how that car looks. I prefer the Lexus LC500. That car sounds gorgeous. Okay. Craig, can you look for my email? Corey. Okay. I will do that. I don't see. Oh, here it is. New Grand Seiko. Oh, we showed this. Corey. What we showed this several times. This is the link you gave me. Is that the link you meant to send? If not, send it again, because that's the link you sent me. That's what we got here in the email. So there you go. Double check your links. Morgans are beautiful looking, but the maintenance costs are terrible. British cars are not the most reliable. Yeah, duh. Lewis is in the house. I've also had a spring bar failure. Like the others, the NATO saved me. I think it's a thing where if you're stressing those spring bars too often, like changing stuff, compressing them and releasing them, I think that might be the issue. Because most of my watches, I don't play with the spring bars, like ever. The only reason I changed this strap on this watch is because I want to try this new strap out and see how good it is. I mean, otherwise, I would have just left the original strap on there until it finally fails. We're getting a thunderstorm here. So that would have probably been 3 or 4 years. Kyle Jet said, yes, Land Cruiser. Cool. I love Land Cruisers. Let's see here. Craig, what do you think about the 996 Porsche 911? Some years of 911s are better than others. I'm not an expert on them, but I would do a lot of research and just make sure you get one of the good years. There's some years better than others. But yeah, I think a 911 is a good way to go. Triforce Rich says 911 is fantastic. The easy choice, kind of like a Rolex sub. Still, I prefer the Land Cruiser over anything. I will have one in my garage in the next few years. Well, the Land Cruiser is a permanent vehicle. If you get one in good shape that hasn't been hit and fixed, with let's say 100,000 miles on it or so, and you take care of it and keep it in the garage, I highly recommend garage keeping cars with good maintenance and all. That will be a lifetime car. I mean, they're just like tanks. They're bulletproof. They're amazing. So yeah, that's the deal with the Land Cruisers. Time check on the channel. Let's see here. Durr says, I enjoy my sports cars, but I prefer and get more use out of my stunner watches. I hear you. Porsche 911 Turbo is like a Rolex Date 8 to me. Oh, there you go. Absolutely. I ran some 911 Turbos hard back in the day. We ran them hard. I'm telling you we did. Jaden's in the house. Do you think I need Archie to give me a review? No, I don't think so. I think we covered that. I think you're good. Triforce Rich, give us a report in about a week or so, Jaden, on how that watch is doing, how accurate it is. Be sure to Skype into the show and give us an update report on that stunner. Triforce Rich, Cheetown, California Day Date is too dressy to be a sports car specifically. I equate it to the S-Class Mercedes. Well, there you go. Actually, I'd rather compare it to a Lexus LS sedan, because that's like even cooler than an S-Class Mercedes, in my opinion, because it is more reliable. Dur's in the house. The SBGX 259 is not a new model. Okay, there you go. Craig, if you had to choose a sports car and highly capable SUV combination, what would it be? Are you talking about one vehicle to use for both purposes? That doesn't really exist. But as far as an SUV, a Land Cruiser is I mean, it's the best you can get. I mean, it's just all that and a bag of chips. They are no freaking joke. Now, as far as a sports car, again, my first choice would always be a 911. Always be a 911. Now I would get that new one, that new electric one they came out with. Didn't they come out with an electric Porsche 911 that's electric? That's awesome? Or did they not? Or did they just come out with a sedan? Maybe they didn't come out with the 911 yet. But anyway, if they did come out with an electric 911, that would be freaking awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome. Lance in the house, I like GS, but some of the 9Fs are very bland. Lance in the house. I don't think that one that he had just now was. You got to see him in person too, Lance. Corey's in the house. Isn't that a wonderful timepiece, people? Yes, it is. And same here. I prefer watches. I do not care much of cars. In San Diego, we have a convertible Mini, but here I drive a Honda CR-V. There you go. Dur's in the house, and he says the SBGX 259 is boring. Well, a Date 8 owner can call anything boring. Triforce Richard Wright, Date 8 equals S-Class, and Date Just equals E-Class. There you go. Triforce, Cheetown, California, OP is a C-Class, still a Mercedes, but entry. Lewis R., in my case, it wasn't OEM spring bars, but third-party replacement bars, which were flimsier with weaker springs that failed. Okay, well, that makes sense. I would always use the best spring bars you can get. I think that's always a good move. Jeepu's in the house. If you put a NATO too tight, it might put more stress on the spring bars than a traditional strap. Well, yeah, the way it wraps up around it like that, I would think it would definitely put more stress on the spring bar and possibly cause a failure. Very good point. We're going to wrap this up here. Don't go into the Porsche forums and ask about the 996. 9 out of 10 replies will be titled IMS bearing disaster. Yeah, like I say, yeah, some of those had some issues, but some of those you can buy really reasonable because of that and then have it fixed if you have to. I mean, so yeah, some of those things, you take that into consideration, right, and figure it out. Lance is in the house. Craig, what are your thoughts on the Timex Marlin Handwine reissue? No, I don't have any real thoughts on it. Wouldn't be something I'd consider. Corey's in the house. I found out it was available only with the white dial for a new price. Okay. Jeepu, Adur, it's a pretty cool all-white watch, the SBGX 259. Okay. Luxury piece. Let's see here. I was on the GS website yesterday. There are so many new models and quite a few limited editions, almost like Omega. Yeah, that's very confusing. Dur's in the house. SBGX 259 is like a four-cylinder Mustang. No fly zone from this, says Dur. Leon, I had my sports car fling. It was a 1998 Pontiac Trans Am. It was very fast, but it felt like I was in a canoe with a bathtub, despite it being so long exterior-wise. Okay. Cheetown, Jaden, if you want lots of screaming in 2 months' time and the standard man on the effing moon and Polar Explorer 2 recommendations, then go ahead and spend $50. Oh, jeez. Lance is in the house. The G-Wagon is better than the Land Cruiser, but the Toyota wins in reliability. Well, duh, but the reliability is very important. And cost of operation is very important. But no, I wouldn't say. The only G-Wagons that are better are the ones that have the, what do you call the axles where the porter, they call them porter axles, the ones where the axle goes across and then down, and so you get a lot more ground clearance. Some of the G-Wagons have that, and that gives them a lot more ground clearance, and that's pretty awesome. I think it's called portal axles or whatever the term is. You know what I'm talking about. Those are pretty awesome, but the just a regular G-Wagon, no, I wouldn't give it the edge over the Land Cruiser. No way. No way, Jose. You start in like Eastern Australia and head to the West Coast and see which one gets there first. I take the Land Cruiser every time in that deal. Let's see. Have you seen the video of people going out of a Rolls-Royce SUV to loot in a shop in New York? It seems like it was not stolen. Okay. Interesting. Corey, I quite liked it from the webpage. Of course, I would require to try it on. Then we can see if it's a stunner. Yeah, absolutely try it on. Jipu, the SB GX259 has the Craig seal of approval. Maybe we need to send him a link to another 4 times. Cheetown, Craig, don't you find it ironic that these guys scream on about how GS are garbage because of the value retention, but they buy brand new BMWs? Very good point. Jipu, that is why you use NATO strap with the curved spring bars. That is a 2020 piece, folks. Okay. Craig, you can't stop the stream yet. The left-wing libs might start a riot and burn everything down because of the puppy abuse. No wrapping up puppies. There you go. I doubt most NATO wearers use curved spring bars. Jay, you guys are too much. Craig, when can we plan to see you and Bree in a Rolex trying on day dates? I don't know. Brianna seems scared to death of the silly virus. I mean, you got tens of thousands of people protesting in the streets. It seems like the virus is no longer a thing anymore. Is it just me, or what do we think here? It's really, really strange. Portal axles. There you go. Cheetown brings it straight into the chat. He knows what I'm talking about. He's no joke. Lance is in the house. The GS branding is the only thing that the SB GX259 has going for it. It looks very basic and isn't worth the $2,000 price tag. Lance in the house. Oh, Lance, you're too much. Tom's in the house. He says hi to all. Tom, unfortunately, we're getting ready to wrap this puppy up. And Carlos, let's see here. Tim, if you drive from the east coast of Australia to the west coast of Australia, make sure you take plenty of water. That's right. And make sure you don't have an unreliable vehicle, because that could be a real problem. And Carlos says, Tom never saw that emoji before. I'll have to watch the replay of the show, Tom in the house. Also watch the video I released on this strap, on the new straps. Watch that video. It was a 5 o'clock premiere. It premiered like an hour ago. Let's see here. I can assure you, gentlemen, that it's a 2020 model. Specifics, okay. It's near the top of options. Okay. Endure says the SBGX259 is just the white dial version of the model that comes in black. It's been out for several years. It's the cheapest entry-level GS. I had the black dial model and sold it quick, says Durr in the house. Corey, you can view web pages. You can view web pages of Grand Seiko. And Leon's in the house, says, Bree should be hanging out with my dad. He's in hiding because of the virus also. Life should be lived, says Leon. Yeah. Jipu says, Craig, we need a whole stream dedicated to the SPGX259. Yeah. Tom, I cannot find it on the iPad. I road tripped around Australia for a month 10 years ago. It was very fun. Tom in the house. Were you in a Land Cruiser? Do tell. No wrapping puppies up. The rioters are already getting their Puppy Lives Matter signs. By the way, are they rioting again tonight? What's the deal with that? Corey Williams James, I sent a phone photo of that watch to Craig with the website links earlier today. Tom, maybe only on the laptop. Okay. All right. I think we are going to call it a day. My gosh, it's almost 7 o'clock, folks. And this strap feels great. It feels great. It's conforming. It's slowly but surely conforming to my wrist. That's the way this works. Another day or so, this thing will be unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, I have to be honest with you guys. I like the black. It makes the gold pop even more. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the 002 Stunner on black? What do you guys think about the 002 Stunner on black? What do you guys think? Let's see. Corey is at the SVGX 259. That is the piece. Hoffman subs. Yeah. SBGX 259 is greater than Tudor. Well, yeah, duh. Not a Land Cruiser, just a standard rental car. Laughing out loud. Derek's in the house. He says, Craig, no. And then Derek says, no. Oh, you don't like the black? Do tell. All right, put Y in the chat if you guys like the black. Y if you like the black. And no, N if you don't like the black. So Y for yes, you like the black. No for you don't like the black. Put it in the chat. See you all later, fellows. Have a great night. Wow, new strap looks good, says Tom in the house. Check out the video, Tom, that I released earlier. We have to speak together on Rolex day dates. Derek in the house. Triforce Rich, it looks better on the brown leather strap, says Triforce Rich. Nice and black, but I prefer it on brown, says Carlos. G-Poo says yes. Cheetown says yes. Tom Austin says yes. And Durr says black Crocs matter. And why, but brown is better. Well, wait, that means you should have put no. Durr says why. It looks dark brown on the stream. Why, but prefer brown. Why to both, says Kyle. Craig, you should get a lipstick red strap like me. Wonderfuls. Okay. Mr. Wonderful. Okay. Why to both also? Well, I tell you what. I think they both look great too. And to tell you the truth, I'm a firm believer that your watch strap does not have to match your belt and your shoes. It can. And if I was wearing a suit, if I was going out with a suit, I'd put on one of my black alligator belts and black shoes, and I'd be good to go, right? But if I was going out casual and I had my dark brown alligator belt on my khakis, I would definitely go like that and wear this with black and have no second thoughts about it. I would not be like panicking and saying, oh, I got to change my watch strap. Because black pretty much goes with everything, I think. That's where I'm going to go with that. Megan is in the house, and you know she's got good taste. So what do you think? Black strap or the dark brown strap? I got the black strap on there now. What do you think? Yellow, gold, and a brown go very well together, but black is more versatile for most people. Did you change the strap yourself? Yes, I did. You got to watch the video, Tom. I put a video up at 5 o'clock today. 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, I premiered a video of me doing just that. So do check it out here on the channel. And Tim says, bye, everyone. And Megan says, we're about to wrap this puppy up. And Stig says, why to both? There you go. Well, you're making it hard for me to make the decision. You're being ambivalent. Ambivalent. So, all right, let me check comments here, make sure. There's a new comment on the HD straps video. Let me check that real quick before we break this. And David Williams says, looks good, Craig. He commented on that video. Okay. All right. Oh, wowzer, you guys have been going. I'm late. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Megan. Very, very sorry. But I've got to eat. I'm getting hungry. Hungry. And there is the official time check. Thank you all for tuning in. We are getting things done. Click subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. Thank you all very, very much for watching.